Hari Om.
Hari Om, Swami.
Savatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhadram Karne Bhishnuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashe Makshabhiryajatra Sthirairangai Stuštuvagum Sastanubi Vyashema Devahitanyadayuhu Swastina Indra Vruddhashavaha Swastina Pusha Vishwavedhaha Swastina Starksho Arishtanemihi Swastino Brahaspatir Dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vansharushibhyo Mahatbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sarvo Paplavarahitah Prajnana Ghanah Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om. Third mantra. Yada pashyah pashyate rukmavarnam Yada pashyah pashyate rukmavarnam Kartaramisham purusham brahmayonim Kartaramisham purusham brahmayonim Tada vidvan punya pape vidhuya Tada vidvan punya pape vidhuya Niranjanah paramam samyamupaiti Niranjanah paramam samyamupaiti. Yada pashyate tada paramam samyam upaiti. That's a sentence. Okay. Samyam means oneness. Upaiti means gains, attains, riches, obtains. With paramam. Paramam means that word param. And paramam, with param. He gains oneness with param. The word in Sanskrit, word param means limitless. Time-wise limitless, that means which is eternal. Space-wise limitless, that means which is all-pervasive. And objectivity-wise limitless, which is in the form of everything. Nothing is away from it. So, Desha, Kala, Vastu, Paricheda means limitations, Rahit. Desha, place, Kala, time, Vastu, objectivity. Unconditioned, not limited by what? Time, space, and objectivity. That is, in another word, you can say Brahman. He attains oneness with Brahman. Sometimes, for your information, it is mentioned Param Brahma, Paramam Brahma. Whereas Paramam itself means Brahman. Why then the adjective Param Brahma? Now I interpreted Samyam Paramam Upaiti. He gains oneness with Brahman. Then why it is said that he Param Brahma? just to distinguish, because the word Brahman has so many meanings. One of the meaning is Mr. Brahmaji. One of the meaning is Brahmana, the Varna. One of the meaning is Vedas. Like so many meanings are there. Conventionally, in Shastra, when Brahman is used, it implies Param Brahman. It implies limitless Brahman. But sometimes Brahman word is used in Shastra also for Brahmaji. Sometimes Brahman word is in Shastra is used for Brahmin. So, to make it more clear, it is said Paramam Brahma Upahiti. He gains the Param Brahma. He becomes one with Brahman. Which Brahman? That Brahman which is limitless. That Brahman which is unconditioned. That Brahman which is Purnaha, Anantaha. Okay? Now, who gains and how and what is the benefit of gaining this? It's okay. You may gain oneness with Brahman. I'm not interested in oneness with Brahman. Or what do I gain by that? So that is being answered. Who gains? Yada Pashyaha Pashyate. Pashyaha Pashyate. The seer, when the seer sees. Okay? How this Pashyaha? Seer will see only. Fact that you say seer will be seeing. Fact that you say hearer will hear. Listener will listen when you say. What does it mean? Hold on, it is falling. So Pashyaha primary means two words, adhikari. One who is qualified. One who has necessary infrastructure. Okay? So word Pashyaha implies not any individual. It doesn't imply a person who is not blind. That's not a meaning. One who has necessary qualification. In terms of sadhana chatushtayam, one. In terms of proper shraddha towards the Guru, two. And third, he has a teacher with him who can teach Shastra. And which teacher? Shrotriya Brahmanishtaha Acharyavan. Acharyavan Purusho Veda. Who sees, who knows? One who has Acharya. So he is qualified in terms of sadhan chatushtaya sampattihi and blessed, I would say. Graced, I would say, by Ishvara, that some punyodaya, he or she came across a right teacher, and then he has a learning available, teaching available, Pashyati, he sees. Okay? Now, in Shastra, wherever there is a word seeing is used, wherever the word gaining is used, wherever the word reaching is used, all these three verbs means knowledge. Don't take the vachyartha, literal meaning. It is not that he sees, he saw Brahman. That seeing Brahman is not like seeing a pen or you seeing me and I seeing you through computer or seeing your mobile or you see your house or you see your relatives or people with whom you live, etc. That seeing is not involved. As reaching, going to some loka of Bhagavan, Have you lost me? Or you are hearing? It's okay.
No, Swamiji, we can't. We missed you for 2 minutes because voice wasn't coming.
Okay. Some prarabdha. These three verbs, seeing, reaching, gaining, is in a sense of knowing. You cannot, seeing doesn't mean like seeing your house, seeing your relatives, seeing your mobile, see you seeing me, I seeing you. Is not that. Because Brahman cannot be seen for two reasons. Brahman has no form and Brahman has no color. Eyes can comprehend only the form and a color. So you cannot see Brahman. It is knowing. Similarly, gaining Brahman. Yab labdva na chaparam labham mannate chadikam tata, etc. Gita verse. Or reaching is not literally reaching. Reaching is also sense of knowing. Going is also sense of knowing. Gaining is also sense of knowing. That 15th chapter verse, Yad gatvana nivartante tad dhama paramam. Having gone where you don't come back. It is not literally going. Because earlier he said, Bhagavan himself said, anything that achieved in time T1, the place P1 will perish at time T2 and place P2. It is not going to some loka. Knowing whom. Nanivartante, there is no punarbirth. Understand? And what kind of knowing? The knowledge free from any doubts and any errors. That means samshaya viparyaya rahitam gnanam. That means you can say gnana nishthavan, one who is abiding in the self, that person. So pashyate, he has a knowledge which is free from any doubts, free from any errors. Whose knowledge? Then he says, or what does he see? Or what does he know? For that, there are 4 or 5 words. Pashyate rukma varnam, object of knowing that which is rukva varnam. Rukva means gold, which is of the color of the gold. Kartaram, that which is the karta. Isham, that who is Ishvara. That Purusham, who is a Purusha. And that which is Brahmayonim. Or you can say Pashyate Purusha. He sees the Purusha. Okay? Which is Purusha, which is there everywhere. That all pervasive vastu is called Purusha. And that is called Rukma Varnam. Rukma Varnam means Rukma Hiranya, Suvarna. You know, Bhagavan is also called Hiranyaya Namaha, Suvarna. That doesn't mean God is having some Midas touch. When he moves his hand on his body has become gold, and that is not the sense. Or like modern example, you know, India has all kinds of babas because there are people to believe in, you know. There were 2, 3 golden babas. They used to wear on their body 5 kg of gold. That's not a point. Gold means shining, self-shining, one. And gold is that metal which is not get affected by weather. Silver is affected. Iron is affected. So gold symbolizes asangatva, unattachedness of this person, or Purusha. Purusha, which is Rasanga. And gold is shining. So primarily here the meaning is self-shining. Self-shining means self-effulgent, self-revealing, not subject to decay. That means consciousness. Rukmavarnam, that which is self-revealing, self-shining, not decaying consciousness. Understand? Rukmavarnam. Consciousness is one which does not require an agency of any sense organ to be known. To know a table, to know the phone, to know a book, you need eyes. To know the sound, you need ears. To know the taste, you need tongue. But I am, you don't need anything. It is self-effulgent. Aham asmi, aham bhami. That I am, and I am is self-revealing. That is the truth of myself. Balya, we chant this shloka in Dakshinamurti Stotra. Balya dishwapi jagrada dishu tatha sarva swavastha swapi vyavrutta swanuvartamanam aham 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 antaspurantam sada. Even when I was a kid and a toddler and a child and a teenager and youth, etc., in all the states, one thing which was self-revealing, that is aham, aham. In all avastha, waking, dream, deep sleep state, ya samvit ujrambhate, that consciousness, aham, aham taya, I, that is self-revealing. To know I am, you don't require any agency. You don't require any means of knowledge. I know I am. Self-existence is revealed by myself. That is Rukmavarnam. Kartaram, that Shankaracharya ji writes that Rukmavarnam means Swayam Jyoti Swabhava. Again, understand, whenever Shastra uses the word Jyotihi, is not light. People think you meditate and think of a light. There is a light in the heart, and they close the eye and see. And Guru says, go to Guru, Sir, Guruji, I am meditating regularly and my meditation is fructifying. I saw red light. Go ahead, you are progressing. Then that fellow further goes, in meditation I saw orange light. Okay. It is no light, okay? And if at all it is light, it is colorless. You see, consciousness is free from any attributes. It is not light. Jyotihi is not light in Shastra. Just remember, again and again I have been telling, you have not to take the direct meaning of the words of Shastra. You have to see the implied meaning. Swayam Jyotihi, self-revealing consciousness, self-existing, I am, is known to me without any agency. And Jyotihi Avinashi, that is imperishable. That consciousness is Nitya. That is what is implied by Rukmavarnam. Rukmasya ivava Jyotihi. Asya Avinashi. That self-effulgence is negatable. Self-effulgence is non-negatable, not negative. Non-negative. The self-effulgence is beyond time. It is the cause of the time. And he says, Kartaram Isham Pashyate. See, this is what you have to understand. Kartaram Isham. So, Kartaram Isham. That doesn't mean the creator who is overlord of this creation. Okay? The Lord and Kartaram can be meant as creator also, or another meaning. Kartaram. See, we started with the two birds. Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya Samanam Vrukshe Parishasvajat Tayoranya Pipalam Swadvasti Anashtananyo Abhichakashi. He talked of two words. One bird is just witnessing, and one of them is eating the delicious fruits. That means bhokta. That means karta. Kartaram isham pashyat. That means the first bird is known as really the second. Understand? The one bird which is karta bhokta is ishaha. Kartaram isham pashyati. He sees the doer. Karta bhokta means jiva. We have defined this. Who is a jivatma? Kartrutva bhoktutva means jivatma. That jivatma is known as Ishvaraha. That means Tattvamasi is seen. The meaning of this Mahavakya is seen. And just for your understanding, the analysis part of it, this Kartaram Isham Pashyate is like what? Listen the sentence. He sees the ring as gold. Alankaram Suvarnam Pashyati. Or you can say Ghatam Mrut Pashyati. He sees the pot as clay. He sees himself or herself as Ishvaraha, non-separate from Ishvaraha. This is called Badha Samanadhikaranyam. Badhayam Samanadhikaranyam. That reveal, this is revealed. This sentence, I see the chain as gold. Or she Alankaram Suvarnam Pashyat. He sees the chain as gold, meaning what? What does it mean? One is negate. Chain stands for negation. As Puja Swamiji would say, the gold swallows the chain. But swallowing the chain means what? From that moment, he doesn't see the chain. No. The reality of the chain is only name and form, and it will continue. The name and form shall continue, but the reality of the name and form is as certain as the goal. So also whole Jagat is nothing but name and form. They continue, but he sees, wise person sees them whole just as gold wise person. Gold wise, I may have another meaning also. But let's say wise with reference to gold. The person who is wise with reference to gold sees the chain plus gold and understands that it is a gold that appears in the form of chain. So also this person sees the world plus Brahman and knows it is the Brahman that manifests as world. Seeing is this. Therefore it is knowing, So, in other words, the reality is appreciated along with apparent thing. Along with name and form, the ultimate reality is also appreciated. Kartaram Isham Pashyate. Okay. In other words, you can interpret it reversely also. Isham kartaram pashyati. The Isha means master. Isha means Malik. The one who is a master of a thing is called Isha. Now, master of the body is also Isha. Navadvare pure dehi. That's Isha. Who is the master of the body? Kshetrajna. Ahankara. He sees Ahankara as Karta. Who's Karta? Jagat Karta. At the moment, Ahankara is Karta. Doer, enjoyer. But doer of what? Not an action. I am the one who created the world. I am the one who sustains the world. And I am the one in whom the entire creation dissolves. That is called Kartaram. Isham Pashyati. So Sharirasya Isham, Sharirasya Swaminam, Kartaram, Jagataha Karta, Iti Pashyati. Pashyate, he sees that. That is Vaidika Prajna. So, this itself is Mahavakya. Kartaram Isham Pashyate. Jeev Ishwar Aikyam, oneness with Jiva and Ishvara. And what he says, Kartaram Isham Purusham. He sees Purusha as that. That means that Bhokta, that Anishaya Shochati Mukhyamanaha. In the previous mantra we saw, the fellow always feels helpless. A helplessness caused shoka. There is a santapa. There is a grief all the time. There is a sense that I am not at home with myself. I am discomfort. I am lacking something. I am dissatisfied. That is a shoka. You feel a void. When some near and dear one dies, a typical Indian expression is, there is no real provision for me to live anymore. They say, that I cannot live anymore. When the near and dear one dies, they say, Swamiji, I don't want to live anymore. There is no purpose of my living. Why should I live? That's a void. Understand? That is shoka. That means you find yourself purposeless. You find yourself objective, without any objective to live. That means you find yourself to be so unfulfilled that even you don't want to continue living. That is a shoka. That shoka, that is shochati. That is a characteristics of jivatma. Who is a jivatma? I have everything, but what for? As long as there is infatuation with what you have. People don't say that, but sometimes they come and tell me, Swamiji, I have everything, but no peace. Swamiji, I have everything, no happiness. Please give me some peace. I said, I don't have any pocket where to bring up. I don't carry. I don't have any pocket doesn't mean I don't take any donation, but I don't take cash. I take only money transfer. Forget the joke. He said, I Bhamaji Shanti. That Narada. Shoham Bhagavas Sochami Shokasya Param Param Tare. That Arjuna, he says, Nahi prapashyami mama punodhyad yachokam utshoshanam indriya. Avapya bhuvau asapatna vruddham rajyam suranam apichadipati. Even if you give me kingdom of all the three lokas without any rivalry, nobody to question, nobody to compete, nobody to threat me, still I feel that santapa, that void, that insufficiency will not, and that is caused by helplessness. I find myself helpless. And I find helplessness because I find myself limited. That limited fellow is karta. And when that is a bird who is eating swadu asti. And that bird discovers itself to be Isham. I am not helpless. Jagat karanam brahmanas. Helplessness is incidental. Kartaram Isham brahmayonim pashyati. He sees himself as what? Brahmayonim. He says Brahmayonim means what? I am Brahmasya Tadyonisha. I am the cause. Yoni means Karanam. I am the cause of Brahman. Or Brahmasya Tadyonisha. I am Satyam Gnananavantam Brahma. Who is the cause of this creation? Cause is remaining the same. Two ways. If you interpret the word as Mr. Brahmaji, then I am a cause of Mr. Brahmaji. Like Vishnu. That is a picture that Brahmaji came out of the navel of Vishnu. And sitting on a lotus, Brahmaji was wondering, who am I? It's $1 billion question. Even Brahmaji was lucky enough that from birth he had got the question. We don't get the question from birth. Who am I? And we just swallow what they tell me. Hey, you are my son, Malulu Pupu Chalu to do. And you swallow it. And this fellow says, hey, you are my niece or nephew. You swallow it. Brahmaji had the question, who am I? But was coming from navel of Vishnu Bhagavan, So umbilical cord was the lotus stick, which connected Brahmaji to him. Anyway. And when you say Brahman, means Satyam Gnanamantam Brahma, and I am the cause of universe. Satyam Gnanamanantam Brahma. Tasmadva etasmad atmanah akasha sambhudaha akashat vayuhu vayorapah advyah prithvi prithvyam vayoragnihi agne rapah advyah prithvi prithvyam oshadayah oshadibhyo annam annat purushaha. Whole creation has come about from Brahman. How? Maya. Understand? Time and space is creation. He has created the time. He created the space. And that is why Brahma Yoni. That insignificant fellow, remember Anishaya Shochati Muhyamana. Previous mantra we discussed yesterday and last class also last week. That fellow who is grieving, santaptaha, finding living no objective in the life, no fulfillment at all in spite of all these achievements, total self-dissatisfaction, discontentment, helplessness, and insecurity centered on I. That I discovered I am the cause of Jagat. When it sees itself as that, what happens? Punyatra vidwan bhava. Athvado or vidwan pashyati. A wise person sees that. And the vidwan bhavati. A vidwan sees that. Who is a vidwan? Generally they translate. Vidwan means learned person. Vidwan means scholar. No. Here the Shastra, Vidwan means who knows Brahman as himself. Therefore, Purusham Vidana. There are so many Vidwans who know Vedas, who know grammar, who know so many Vidyas. That is in a Vyavhara, in our day-to-day life, we use the word in all our vernacular languages. He is a scholar of this discipline. But scholar doesn't mean Vidwan, but still there is a limitations of English language. He says that Vidwan is there. But here, Vidwan means one who knows Brahman as himself, who sees Jiva, the individual, who sees himself or herself non-separate from Brahman. That is Vidwan Punya Pape Vidhuyaha. Okay. Giving up Punya and Papa, washing off Punya Papa, Vidhuya Doina. Means what? Karma Falani Tyaktva, gives up all the karma, becomes free from the bondage of karma and karma phalas. That how he becomes? Karma phalas are infinite. How can you disown that? The fellow to whom all these were attached, that ahankara, that jivatma, is no more there. That is called giving up all the karma phalas. Okay? With giving up punya and papa, both, means all sanchit karmas. That means there is no cause for new birth and new death. The cycle of birth and death gets over. The fellow was pushed to different births, pushed to different janmas, pushed to different experiences, and ultimately pushed to death in that given yoni. All that is gone. Punya pape viduyaha. And what he says, look at the mantra. He says, Yada pashyah pashyate rukma varnam kartaramisham purusham brahma yonim tada vidwan punya pape viduyaha. And then what he becomes? Niranjanaha. Gives up punya papa, and niranjanaha, becomes free from any debt, becomes free from any impurities, becomes free from any blemish. We have one word. See, Sanskrit is so easy. Since all our languages have derived from Sanskrit, some of the Sanskrit words we use in our day-to-day life, but we don't pay attention to. Now, when you apply certain things to eyes, it is called anjanam. In Hindi, Gujarati, then Anjvi, Gujarati. The black thing, I don't know, English must be a mess. Gujarati apply certain things to eyes. That is black. That is anjanam. Niranjan, free from any blemish, he becomes pure. Why he becomes pure? What kind of purity? Where the impurity is not possible. Why it is not possible now? It was not possible before also. Because Atma is asanga. Atma is formless. All the impurities were caused by ahankara. Ahankara itself was superimposed, was born out of adhyasa, and adhyasa was born out of ignorance. It becomes pure. Exactly like two examples I can give. Pharaoh sees a cobra, very poisonous with a big fang and all that. Then I have come across this particular cobra is so venomous. If it bites, you cannot survive for more than 2 minutes. Oh, such a cobra. When he discovers it is rope, it becomes niranjana. The poison is gone. It is not gone. Poison never was there. That is discovered. Or in a dream fellow committed so much of crime, erroneously murdered somebody. Was while cleaning the gun, the shot came out, the fellow died, and the people around came to catch him, and he again made 2 more shots to run away, got into car and started chasing and running, and the police came behind. Already 2-3 murders took place. drove so badly, broke three-fourths the crossing lights, 4 counts of breaking the law on the road, and like a typical Hindi movie, he hit those delis on the footpath on the road, and broke open the delis and threw out the deli wala, the lari wala, and the fellow was injured. So many cried, and he ended up on a hilltop, and there was no road beyond. And just out of the speed, from mere speed, he dashed, and the car fell into this down below. Car did not fall. He fell below from the bed. And then he fell down. He became Niranjana, became pure, free from all kinds of counts and punishments and jail and all that. Because already, listen this, there is no becoming Niranjana. It is discovering that I am always Niranjana. The discovery takes place, and that is a freedom, and he becomes Paramam Samyam Upaiti. It is not gaining Samyam, it is discovering Samyam. Samyam doesn't mean sameness. Samyam means oneness. He discovers that I am one with Brahman, free from any impurities. The self is the one who never ever underwent any changes whatsoever. Vikara rahita. There is no modifications that can take place in me, because modifications are caused either because of time or because of weather or space or whatever reason. There is nothing other than me, and I am formless. How can there be any modifications in space? Space is formless, and therefore free from any modifications, and recognizes himself to be that. He sees Brahman means what? Understand? Yada pashyate. He sees this Brahman, meaning thereby he knows that Brahman as the self. I am not separate from Brahman. Earlier also I had told you, the whole teaching necessitates an adhikari, because here the object of knowledge is something that which I want to be. The knower wants to be known. I am not simply interested in knowing there is Atma, which is Satchidananda. I want to be Ananda. As of now, I am Mr. Dukhi, Miss Dukhi, Mahadukhi. I am the most unhappy person. That most unhappy wants to discover I am the happiness. So knowing is becoming, and it is becoming because that is your nature. Knowledge cannot be converted into becoming. By knowing a given object, you don't become that object, unless what you come to know is you. Karna knew that I am not a son of Radha, I am son of Kunti. That knowledge itself gives him what? A status. I am not a son of a charioteer, I am born prince. You can say he becomes prince by knowing that I am prince. You don't become prince by knowing prince. Otherwise, everybody would start telling, I am Mr. President. You don't become president. It is like that Lalu Prasad joke. Lalu Prasad, when he was a CM, he loved to go for inaugurations. Anything and everything, he will go for inauguration. In one of the mental hospitals, They were to discharge some patients. Laluji said, I am coming. I will discharge them. And there is another thing to know. When a psychic fellow having severe problem who has been admitted to mental hospital, when the fellow is discharged, he's let loose in the world, they give him a certificate. He has become wise. So he gets a certificate. Okay? We don't get any certificate. Some of them are not having certificate and they are projecting themselves to be having certificate. That's a separate issue. But this fellow gets a certificate. Laluji said, I will come, my certificate distribution, I will do that. So one patient was normal and it was announced he lived here only for short time, blah, blah, blah. Laluji, just to pick up conversation, asked him, hey, what was the problem with you? He said, don't talk about it. I don't want to talk. He said, no, tell me. No, I told you I don't want to talk. It's such a silly problem. And they kept me here for this time. He said, come on, tell me what was the problem. This fellow says, I was telling them I am Lalu Prasad Yadav. Laluji felt insulted. He said, you know who is Lalu Prasad? He said, whoever it may be, I don't want to know him at all. Then they'll put me again. Laluji said, I am Lalu Prasad. This fellow comes closer and tells he's silent. Really? It's a good hospital. They give good treatment. I got ready by 3 months. Get admitted. अच्छी ट्रीटमेंट देते हैं 3 महीने में ठीक हो जाओगे. So, Lalu had no answer to tell him, you know, that I don't need treatment. I am the Lalu Prasad, you know. So anyway, coming back to that, if that fellow was not Lalu Prasad, by knowing I am Lalu Prasad, he doesn't become Lalu Prasad. So if Karna was not really a born prince, by knowing that I am Kaunta, it doesn't become Kaunta. So knowing Brahman, I become Brahman because I am Brahman. That is me. So therefore I said knowing is gaining. Understand? In the beginning I said all the verbs which in the sense of gaining is to be interpreted or seen as in sense of knowing. Because what I know is myself. There is a confusion or there is an erroneous conclusion that I am different from what I am. That error gets corrected. That not even error, that is adhyasa. Technically, right word is that. Adhyasa doesn't mean error, but still, for a want of English word, I use the word error. That adhyasa, superimposition on I about what I am not gets negated. And I being self-revealing, self-existing fact, I discovered that I am Brahman. Therefore, it is figuratively said, he gains Brahman. There is no gaining. It is you. Karna doesn't gain the status of being a prince. He is prince. Punya pape viduya. Yada pashyate, when he sees, because what he sees means knows, because what he knows is himself or herself. Is non-separate from him. Therefore, he becomes that. Okay. And it continues. She continues further. We'll see it next week. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shri Hari Om Hari Om. See you next week on 16th.